that trail would actually work for many things. So I really think, as a personal myself who likes to walk, I think it's a great project to go through, but also in my business, I think it's a great thing that we should go through.
Dr. Cornelius again. I think with the current economy that you're very likely to come in under bids rather than over bids, because there are contractors who are looking for work. I've been involved in this type of thing only in the tune of several $1 million. And under the circumstances, it depends on what the economy is like as to how your bids come in. And I think the state is aware of that. I think when they have it, that you'll come in with some good bids. And again, when we talked about the $24,000 that was said you were going to save, when you take that $24 million and you compare it with the $500,000 you're going to throw down the tube, that's 19,000% that you're getting on return on your money.
My wife forgot a couple things. How many people turn off that interstate in a normal warm day?
State your name, please, for the press. Could you state your name for the press?
Oh, nobody knows my name? Jim Joyce, Sidney,
Thank you.
40 years plus. Over 6,000 people a day turn off that interstate in warmer weather. I mean, that interstate's a gold mine. People could ride right downtown from the campground. We have a lot of things for them to see in downtown. And a lot of people, she lets me work once in a while out there. A lot of people want to know where the commander's home is at, museum's at, igloos. Where's the igloos at? So I sent them up to a county road and they go, look, I guess. And also, there's a volunteer group who's worked very hard on the old Boot Hill. To me, it looks good right now, but for tourists to come visit, it's going to be fantastic, I think. And also, working on one of the oldest buildings in Sydney. I'm not going to tell Marv that he can't do it. But anyway, one of the oldest buildings in Sydney is going to be rebuilt, reconstructed, and it'll look like new. It's all volunteer work. Can't they ride a bike from Cabela's campground? Sure they could. And see downtown. Now that interstate's a gold mine. I didn't know why we didn't have anything there in 1974. It took 20 years to get something there finally. You know, we don't want to go backwards. Thank you.
Thanks.
My name's Clint Tolbert. I was on one of the original committees to do the Deadwood Trail. Gary, how much did it cost us then? It's 1.89 miles from the shelter house out to the fairgrounds. How much did it cost?
I can't honestly tell you though. I don't.
I think it was over $300,000.
Yeah, I believe it.
And that's 1.89 miles. I do not know how far it is from the college out to where you have this proposal. And you say you can do it for less than
8,900 feet.
How many miles is that?
About 2.
And for 1.89 miles, it costs over $300,000. You're telling me you can do it cheaper? Going up a hill, more grading, more other things to do. I don't believe it.
I think I proved I can do exactly what I said I can do on other projects in this town. And if you don't believe it, that's fine.
Ralph?
Yeah.
Mr. Kastner, would you like to speak?
Yeah. First of all, I think Councilman Filson is probably right. I'm sure there's probably no question that privately we can do it cheaper than the current path as designed. I'm just not sure we can do it $500,000 cheaper, which is the amount of the federal grant. That's point one. Point two is if the council would choose to vote no tonight, I would want to put a reasonable time limit on something less than 5 years on the $200,000 offer that we would have for alternative path, which sort of gets to point 3, which if we couldn't work something out, we would intend to proceed with our original plan to build a walking path around the existing campus. And then lastly, if the council would vote yes today, go forward with the bids, and the bids would come in more than whatever your maximum is with our 200,000, 810,000. I guess I'd put a request that someone from the city please come talk to us before we say no to a bid, because if it's $5,000 short, we'd certainly all hate to say no for $5,000. So please consult us before you say no. Thank you.
Thanks. I guess I started the discussion on this, and to me, it's an overblown double sidewalk, and it is awful expensive per foot. Whether you can argue who can do it the cheapest, everybody can debate that. If you took the grader and you plowed it to a different route, you could probably get it up there for $200,000-300,000 and a piece of sidewalk. But we're building a trail that the city's going to take over, and we have to meet all those guidelines. Got a lot invested in this trail. If we can stick with what's budgeted and see how far it goes. And the problem I saw with the project is when it started to go with the federal stimulus problem, it started to snowball, and how many more hoops you have to jump through started to look more and more expensive. But at this point, I would say if we can stick to the budgeted amount and agree on the budgeted amount and stick with that, then let it go around there. And also wouldn't, if I was a councilman here and had property out there, I wouldn't allow it to go through my property anymore after the discussion tonight. So I don't think that route's impossible anymore. So, is there a motion to...
What is your budgeted amount then? The
171.
171?
171
is the total project. With the, we have to put in the whole.
And by the time some of it will be expended, it'll be next budget year or so, overruns we can put in there. But from the city, what you originally budgeted, 171,000, that's our lid.
Right. So if everybody agrees with that, and that's written down somewhere?
I agree.
About the property, about, you said about the comment tonight, the property. What property are we talking about that's a holdup here that you just, what did you just say?
I said if I was a councilman with property out there, I wouldn't allow it to go through my property anymore.
Can you explain?
There's,
No, I can't explain
the
it.
route
I
that it's
just don't.
going now, there is no, outside of getting written permission from the people that have agreed verbally, there is no problem with property.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yes? Would you please state your name for the press?
Just for I understand the thing, but if you say no to this tonight, the city's out of $84,000, is that right?
For the planning of it.
For the planning and everything, you're out of that money, it's gone.
Right.
So another 24,000, though, you could have this project done, and then it just, to turn that, we've already spent 84,000, so you're gonna,
Right.
No, it's actually
You're
not,
gonna walk
our budgeted amount is like 171.
that's what it is if you do the whole project, but if you
Right.
just say no tonight. you
It's
spend
gonna cost us
84,
84,000.
It's
Right.
like either.
So it's
just
gonna cost us
84,000 away.
basically $90,000 to go ahead, yeah.
Okay, that's-
Yep.
The only reason to reconsider it was a possibility of another route, but as I stated, I don't think that should be considered. We'll go ahead and, is there any motions to go ahead with the agreement?
John, I mean, the agreement's valid, as is.
We don't have to.
So we don't need to discuss this anymore?
All I need is direction, Dave, whether we're proceeding forward or not, because we have to have this under construction contract by October 15th.
Should you proceed with caution then?
What we'll do is we'll proceed forward if that's your wish, and the next time that you would see it then would be once it's bid by the state to either accept the bids or...
Okay.
I really think there should be a motion, a second, and action to direct the
Reaffirm
staff
your support.
to move forward from this point to proceed to get the plans to the 90% stage. Is that?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we proceed forward and make the final decision at the budget when we get the bids back on this project.
Did we just change the agenda, or do we have to wait till next week to do that?
Thought this
Or
was
2
on the
weeks to do
agenda.
that?
Reconsideration.
Yeah,